Flash games ruled the world. From 2000 to 2014, Flash games and the websites that hosted them ruled the internet sphere in a way that I can't even properly describe. They were infinite, varied, and genre-defining. Here are just a few of my favorites. And with that, I bring you to one of my favorite pastimes, one of many people's favorite pastimes as a child in the early to late 2000s, Flash games. Specifically starting off today with Sniper Assassin 3, part of the Sniper Assassin franchise, series, however you want to call it. This was a great game, and a great game series, especially for Flash games, because it had a coherent story through several parts, and each one seemed very mature for the time, especially as children. We're not supposed to be playing these types of games, but they were great opportunities to something many of us didn't afford. You know, video games are expensive back then, especially if they were M-rated. What parent is going to buy them? But we had stuff like AddictingGames.com. And before the internet was filled with nothing but the worst people, we had great people designing games like this. So we're just going to go ahead and pop in real quick and play one or two missions just to kind of give you an idea of what it is, see if you want to go try it for yourself. All of these games, of course, will be linked in the description below. So, basically Sniper Assassin 3 is a revenge story at its heart, I'm pretty sure. And you play as, of course, the Sniper Assassin who you've been for all the games. And up here you've got your mission briefing, which is just telling you, basically what the opening cutscene was telling us, and then the mission objective with kill the suspicious looking men watching over the agent's house. So a very specific objective, which you do have to actually pay attention to this kind of stuff. Because otherwise you just shoot random people and you'll lose, or you shoot somebody but you do it in the wrong way. So start the mission. Everything's stick figure based, everything's, crudely drawn. Pretty nice. It's honestly very nostalgic to come back and see this kind of stuff. So this guy, he looks kind of suspicious. Let's shoot him and see if he's the right one. Yes, he was. And that's how simple some of these can be. But do not be deceived. Some of these can get extremely complicated, at least from what my 8-year-old brain remembers. Alright, and thank you very much, Sean. Incapacitate. So, incapacitate. Don't just shoot him in the head, you've got to incapacitate him. Mr. Johnson's agent that will rendezvous with the target. So, let's keep an eye out. Somebody's going to be coming down to sit with somebody, probably over here, I think. But it could be, this could be, we don't know. They're all stick figures. It's not like there's a whole lot to differentiate them. Sniper Assassin is another game that, I think even now, if you don't have the money, if you can't play Sniper Elite, Sniper Assassin is a pretty good way to, is that the right guy? It was! 2 missions in, I think that's a good place for us to stop. Otherwise, I'll play through the whole game. So, next game. And next up is Halo Capture the Flag, the Flash version. Now, for those of you who only had friends who had Halo, or you couldn't afford or weren't allowed to get Halo, kind of where I fell into with the crowd of everybody else was an Xbox kid, I was a PlayStation kid. This was our only way to play Halo, and you know what? It slapped. It's very simple. It's very simple. But it's so gosh darn cool. It's real simple. You just move with the arrow keys. You can set the number of captures. Let's just say 1, because 0 is just an infinite game. You move with the arrow keys. You shoot with the space bar. You jump. It's Halo. It's capture the flag. It's even got a chat down there. It's even got a chat and a kill cam. You can drive the Warthog, but I genuinely don't know how to get out of the Warthog once you get into it, so we're not going to do that. But look at this, these little sprite stuff. This is the kind of thing you could envision being on like a Java phone or something back in the day. Although it never was. It was only here. This was the only place it could be at. And you've just got enemy Spartans who spawn in, try and steal your flag, you try and steal theirs. It's based off of a Halo 2 map, I'm pretty sure. But God, I love this. I don't know how many hours I wasted playing this back in the day. Just back and forth, back and forth. Even if it's as simple as it is. I remember playing this with friends. Actual friends during sleepovers, and we would take turns to see who could get more scores. Who could steal the flag more often than the other person. And that's how we would decide who would win. And we win. Look at that. It's so simple. There's really just, it's such a simple game. I don't think I've ever seen that animation, but it's neat that they put it in there. So let's just go ahead and do another one real quick, just so I can keep talking about it. Yeah, it's based off of a Halo 2 map, the name of which escapes me right now. But you can also just hop in the Warthog, which can also jump and do all the crazy things that Warthogs do. You know, this was exciting back in the day. I know it doesn't seem like a lot now, but if I even had this on my phone as a time waster, it would still be the coolest thing. Oh, I think I just killed I spawn camped him. It would still be the coolest thing to have something like this. And that's kind of why I like it. It's so simple, still addicting, and it's probably better than half the iPad games you could give a kid now. That's gonna do it for this one. Next game. And finally, in this rampage of changing aspect ratios, because these are all on different websites, we have Feudalism. The Mountain Blade before Mountain Blade was a thing. You know, if you've played Mountain Blade, or Mountain Blade Warband, or Mountain Blade 3, this was what those were before then. And even after those games came out, you know, I remember watching YouTubers play Mountain Blade and being like, oh, I wish I could play that, but I both don't have money, don't have Steam, and don't have a good enough PC. But I still had Feudalism. Feudalism 1 and 2 were amazingly simple, but extremely long and kind of difficult games to get into. So if you know Mountain Blade, any of them, it's set in medieval-ish times, and it's kind of an RPG. Well, Feudalism is the same thing. You've got different basic characters you can start out as. You have all these stat lines that you can work with. So we're just going to go with the Shogun of the Far East Empire. Just going to pop in here, so, you know, and you've got your free points at the beginning, so if you want him to be a little better with the sword, or a little better with his dual weapons, you can do that. If you want him to have a little more health, he's got that. If you want him to have a little more strength, a little more intelligence so he levels up easier, you can do all of that. I think he's got a katana, so let's just level him up, because he does have, they're kind of hidden back there, but he's got those. Now, this is your basic village. This is where you will start at with any character. The thing that changes the most is what the buildings look like. So you've got a temple to buy healing potions, you've got a forge to buy and sell weapons, which is how you mainly make your money. You've got barracks where you can recruit troops like you can in Mountain Blade, and you've got City Hall, which is basically when you get strong enough, you can capture the town, you can view your stats and upgrade them, you can save in 3 separate slots, or you can do what we're going to do, which is ask for a quest. We need you to deliver a package. Cool. Easy enough. Click these little doors, and you're out on the open world map. I can't remember if this map changes depending on the area you're in, but I'm pretty sure it does. But God, it's been well over 15 years since the last time I played it. So here's us down here in the town of Omi. We've got to deliver it, I think he said, to Matsumiya, so that's where we're going to go. And easy. So now that we're here, we're going to pick up another job, and he wants to deal with some rogues, 600 gold. So where would the rogues be at? You're like, don't know. This mountain that wasn't here before. Go in, but before we get there, we get a random encounter, so I guess I get to talk about the combat anyways. So the tutorial is going to say its own thing. Here's what it looks like. It looks like it would be like North versus South on like the NES, or a turn-based thing. It's actually not. So you move with Wasad, and you hit with the space bar. For some reason, that was the one everybody liked to use back then. And your randomly generated allies will fight the randomly generated bandits. And the bandits do level up. The bandits do level up with you as you level up. And as you can see, we obtained some items. Cool, we can use that later. Now we're actually going to get into the actual, quest of going after all these guys. Trying to help out, make sure our own guys don't get obliterated as I try and desperately as I try desperately to move and get them, but it doesn't matter. We got it anyways. And we also leveled up. We got some more gold just for doing that fight. So now if we go back to Matsuuma, we've got even more gold. And then we can go down here, sell all our weapons to get even more gold, upgrade, you know, and eventually we'll be able to get off the island and go over here, and then off that island, go over here, and actually do a lot more of the big missions. But, like, that's just the first, 2 minutes? That's the entire game, and you can get so in-depth with this, and eventually have conquered every town on the map. And you can come back to it because the games do save in the browser. They save via the browser and server. If that's not the coolest thing in the world, like, I don't know what is. But this is one of the things that I love most about Flash games, is deceptively simple, can be extremely deep. It's something you really have to respect these old Flash games for. And the gratuitous violence. But that's going to do it today, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more stuff like this or the other stuff I'm doing, drop a sub. That's going to do it today, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.